Welcome to the Joy Watch. Hey everybody, Nic and Carl, and we are coming to you, and we're in a brand new space. It's not exactly finished yet, but this is a brand new space. It's going to be a video studio here at the church, and we've got a couple people to really thank for this.
Yeah, we do. So definitely Levon Miller, my co-statler, the entire stewardship team have been working really hard on this space. And if you're not exactly sure where we are actually up in the balcony. And if you remember, a couple months ago, we put a thing out that if you want a pew, you can have a pew. So we cleared out the pews up here, and then the stewardship team, they worked on constructing a recording studio for us, and so we're excited to be able to use this. I like it how it is. I don't know why we would need to finish anything.
Well, I kind of like mud on the wall first and paint then, but that's just me.
To each his own. But we're really excited for this, and I think we see a lot of possibilities to do things with different videos and things like that.
Yeah. And so anyway, we don't have to keep rearranging our office to do that kind of stuff. So no, that's cool. And a lot of people helped put up drywall here yesterday and stuff like that. And so anyway, that's where we're at. And so we just got done with a series, Expect the Unexpected.
Yep.
And I had to tell Nick we're not using materials now. We're not asking people to. Did you think Chris was going to bring a throne in this week or something?
I was really hoping he would.
Yeah, and we're not doing that. We're not doing that now. This is a totally different. We're start of the year. We're going to be meeting in person if that works for you, and if not, we'll still put the sermon on the YouTube channel after the service on Sunday. But hope to see a lot of people here on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And our theme for the year is joy with God. Mm-hmm. So Nick, why? Nick and I had a retreat in September, and we each independently had gone and talking to God and came back and talked with each other and felt like God was giving this as a theme. I don't know, anything else? What else would you want to say about that right now?
I think just overall, in general, the idea was in the midst of whatever life throws our way, we need to be focusing on joy with God. Because joy comes from God. It's not just something that we make up on our own.
You can't manufacture it.
Yeah. You're seeking it from God, and so it's the idea of whatever 2020 throws our way, whether good or bad, we want to be joyful.
Yeah, we want to be able to find that joy and dedicate our lives to God's purpose. Mm-hmm. And I think God's purpose in that is to find joy in our lives, fulfilling His purpose. So as we're starting, so that's the theme for the year. And as we're starting the year, we've got a few different passages from Phillippians. And Philippians, so we've got the Apostle Paul writing here. And the passages we're looking at in Philippians for these first 3 weeks, they're going to be familiar passages. And Paul's situation is he's sitting in prison. Mm-hmm. And yet, you know what? He's got passages here where he's talking about rejoice with me and I want to rejoice with you. And, this brings me joy. He's all about that joy, even though his physical circumstance, you'd think he'd be getting down and depressed.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be the way he's handling that.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, throughout any of the letters that Paul writes when he's in prison or he's suffering in some way, it's all about rejoicing through that joy, finding the joy in the suffering. And so that's kind of what we see in today's passage, right? I mean, we're looking at Philippians 1:27 through 2:18. So we're got a couple pieces of each chapter here. And Paul is all about the joy.
All about the joy and all about, and for him, it's not manufactured, it's authentic, because he knows he's fulfilling God's purpose. So just some of the things, not going to read the passage now, obviously, but as you look through that passage in preparation for Sunday, just notes there's a lot of community things here, how we are supposed to be responding, how we respond to the world, how we respond to each other, how we look and act for the world to see, as well as there's a whole paragraph here where, or part of the paragraph, Jesus' example and what Jesus has done. And here, when I think about that, I can get ashamed about my own life and not thinking about, how I could, I could be a lot more like Jesus here. So even just thinking about being like Jesus, or let's just think about being like Paul. So thinking about, what are my most joyful moments in 2020? What were Nick's, and sharing that with you? And we've actually brought some of those things up. I'm going to guess your most joyful moment is when Emmett arrived and changed your lives forever, right? Yeah. And you would probably know my most joyful moment of 2020.
I'd say your most joyful moment would be Lydia's wedding.
Yeah, no, and it is. Okay, so we've mentioned that other times, whether sermons or previews. So let's just go a little bit deeper here. So Nick, in more of the nobody has a baby every month.
Hopefully.
Okay, you hardly even have one every year. Okay,
yeah.
So in 2020, what are some of your most joyful things that just come out of maybe the everyday things that happen? And here again, we're just trying to focus on what brings joy. And I'm convinced we can focus on the negative, and that's going to affect inside us. And I want to focus on the joy and focus on what God's doing and how I can learn and grow in what God's doing and join Him. And I think then that helps me inside too. So,
yeah, I'd say, so for me, even within the last week, being able to spend some time with family over the holidays, and because of COVID, it made it to where not everybody in the family came at the same time. And so, we were able to spend time, for example, with Michelle's grandma, where it was just Michelle and I and Jeff and Vicky. And it was, didn't have the chaos of a bunch of people there. And so I guess it lended itself to more of an intimate moment in time to just spend quality time together. And I have found that throughout all of COVID, where you don't have these big groups, but that provides opportunities to have, smaller intimate moments with people.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about just everything that happened throughout the year. Definitely, we didn't meet for church near as much. So I definitely felt some of that loss. But what hits me then when I think about that is there have been opportunities to spend more time with just individuals developing relationships or deepening relationships or forming completely new relationships. Again, whether that's in the family, which that has happened, whether that's happened here at the church with you coming on, whether that's happened with other pastors as we've worked at navigating a new way to do church, if you will. And some of those relationships, that's big with me, and I find great joy in recognizing I can learn from these people. I'm learning to get to know them and understanding their situation and their experiences, and feel like that gives me a lot to learn and grow. Those are some of the things that we're thinking of as you prepare for Sunday. Instead of focusing on the negative or the things that were disappointments in 2020, try to come up with, what are the areas that God was helping you grow in? What would be areas where you think, you know what? That brought me great pleasure, great joy. And again, we're looking at joy not necessarily just being happy, but it's a deep-seated, I can be content here. I can be fulfilled in God's purpose. That's
yeah. And if you think of some of those things, post them on social media, tag the church page in it. If you don't have social media or not comfortable posting on social media, send Carl and I an email or give us a phone call. We'd love to hear other stories of joy and know that there's people in our congregation that are experiencing God's joy day in and day out. We would love for you to share those with us as we continue to share stories with you about God's joy.
Yeah, and the other thing, we had talked about this, maybe for some of you, you have just felt so alone and you want to be able to talk to somebody and just call us up. You can call us up, you can text us. We'd be glad to talk to anybody about there, even if it's not about joy. I mean, if there's things on your heart that you just feel like, you have been so desperate to talk with people, we're people, and so we count. And so we'd be glad to have you reach out and we'd be glad to talk. So I think that's all we've got for today. Hope to see a lot of you on Sunday, and if not, that's okay. We want you to be comfortable if you're going to be coming, and if you're not comfortable at this point, that's fine too. And again, the passage, Philippians 1:27 to 2:18, and Philippians is not a long book. You might want to read more than that. Just prep on what Paul's saying about rejoicing and what does that really mean. So,
Yep.
Okay.
See you later.
See ya.